Hi, my name is Mara Whitlow and I'm 29 years old. This story isn't about ghosts or demons. It's about being watched not by a person, not by something alive, but by a place, a home. I inherited after my aunt passed away. I thought it was just old, creaky, and falling apart, but what was behind those walls have been waiting and watching me before I ever arrived. But if you like true sounding horror, subscribe, like, and share this story to support the channel. This story is written and edited by Dark Life Side Diaries. When my aunt Dolores died, no one came to the funeral except me and the priest. No family, no friends, just a pews, a closed casket, and no one had expected to be found. The lawyer gave me a manila envelope and said she left it all to you. I blinked. All of what? He smiled awkwardly. The house she'd lived in, a town called Greystone Vale, population barely 800, not even a blip on GPS. I remembered visiting once when I was a kid. The memory was foggy, just a flash of a staircase and a weird low humming sound that made my skin itch. I hadn't seen her since I was 9. No photos, no calls. I didn't even know she was still alive until the lawyer called. But something told me I had to go. I wasn't doing great. My apartment lease had ended. My boyfriend had ended things before that, and my job had quietly let me go after I stopped showing up. So I packed what little I had, took a rental car, and drove through 6 hours of back roads and pine trees until I hit Greystone Vale. The town looked like it had been forgotten by time. One gas station, one diner, and a general store with faded signs. Everyone stared when I got out of the car. The kind of stare that says, "You don't belong here, but we remember you anyway." The house sat on the edge of town, massive, Victorian, and the kind you'd expect to be on the cover of a ghost story paperback. Its paint had long since peeled, and vines clung to its bones like veins, but something about it made my stomach tighten, not in fear and familiarity, like I'd seen it in a dream or lived inside it in a life I couldn't remember. Keep it too easily in the front door. The air inside was warm and still heavy with the smell of old furniture and something faintly sweet like rotting flowers. The furniture was all still there, covered in sheets. Everything looked and touched preserved, as if she'd vanished mid-step. I explored slowly. The staircase creaked beneath my weight in a rhythm almost like breathing. The upstairs hallway was lined with closed doors, but one stood open, my old bedroom from when I visited as a child, and that's when things began to slide. The walls inside were different, clean, fresh, like someone had repainted them yesterday. There was a made bed, a dollhouse in the corner, and a picture on the wall of a young girl sitting on a swing. I leaned closer, my breath caught. It was Mena, a child me, no, some jacket, same haircut. The photo was dated to days ago. I hadn't been here in over 20 years. He stepped back, heart thudding, and the hallway behind me was suddenly dark, the windows covered. I hadn't closed them. I turned and heard something I hadn't heard into decades. A low humming, faint, like someone pressing their mouth against the wall and singing a note only I could feel. He spun around and saw nothing, no one, but the walls. The wallpaper rippled just slightly, like something inside the walls was shifting. I ran downstairs, ready to leave, but when I opened the front door, it was just brick, a wall where a door should be. The humming grew louder. I turned and saw the old grandfather clock in the corner. Its hands weren't moving forward. They were turning backward. He backed away from the brick wall where the front door should have been, unsure whether to scream or cry. My heart was pounding, my hands shaking, but the house, it was calm, still, like it had seen this before. I stumbled into the kitchen, the only room I hadn't explored yet. The moment I crossed the threshold, I smelled something strong, not just old food. It was like the scent of burnt sugar mixed with copper. I flipped the light switch. The bulb above flickered, then steadied. The room was spotless, every drawer shut, the faucet gleaming, but the table, it had something laid out for me. A steaming cup of tea, a folded napkin, and a single note in my aunt's handwriting. It read, "Welcome home, Mara. The house is happy you're back. It remembers everything I didn't remember, writing letters here, or swinging in the backyard, or laughing by the fireplace. But now, flashes kept hitting me, not memories, not exactly, more like images being fed into my brain. I saw myself at 7 years old, standing at the top of the stairs, whispering into the wall. I saw my aunt, young and pale, holding a mirror to the floorboards and saying this is how she listens. And I saw a door, not any door I could find in the house, covered in red paint and black handprints. A door I knew I was never supposed to. A penny backed into the hallway and heard the clock ticking again backwards. But louder, aggressive, I turned toward the stairs, and the light above me began to pulse. Not flicker, pulse like it had a heartbeat. One beat, then another. And then silence from upstairs. I heard a voice. It was Manana, echoing, not distorted, exactly my tone, my inflection. But it said something I hadn't said. You left her in the walls, Mara. You promised you wouldn't forget. I ran up the stairs, through the hallway, flinging doors open. Every room had changed. The guest bedroom was now filled with clocks, all ticking backward. The office had dozens of identical photographs pinned to the wall. Me standing outside this house, looking confused, taken from different angles like surveillance shots. One had today's date scribbled on it, another was marked for tomorrow. We opened and the final door, my childhood bedroom. And the humming started again, not from the walls. This time, from under the floor. I dropped to my knees and pressed my ear to the old hardwood, and what I heard made my throat close. Your girl's voice crying, Mar, why did you leave me down here? I screamed and stood backing into the closet. Door opened behind me by itself, revealing nothing but darkness. Spit in the dark. I saw two eyes blink. They were mine. I didn't move at first. I couldn't. The eyes inside the closet blinked again, slow, patient, familiar. They weren't glowing or monstrous. They were mine, but not as I saw them in the mirror today. These were younger, sharper, like the last time I truly smiled was still trapped behind them. Then they disappeared, swallowed by the black behind the door. And before I could think, before I could be rational, I stepped an instant cold, not just temperature time. The air felt thick, like I had walked into something, and finished. The closet door shut behind me. But I didn't reach for it. Instead, I walked forward. The floor disappeared, yet I didn't fall. I just continued into darkness, into something that had waited years for me to come back. There were no walls here, just memory. It wrapped around me like thread, pulling pieces of myself apart. Smells, sounds, moments. I heard a swing, creak, a record playing, a small laugh, high-pitched happy, and then sharp, splintering scrumpets. When I saw her, the girl in the Welsh looked exactly like me. At age 7, blue overalls, scraped knees, hair pulled into crooked braids. She was sitting on the floor, hugging a doll with no face. Her head turned slowly, unnaturally, as if the bones inside her neck didn't know how to move anymore. When she looked at me, her expression was unreadable, not afraid, not angry. Waiting, Mar, she whispered, you promised you'd come back. I took a step closer. Who are you? She tilted her head. I'm the part you left here, the part you buried when you stopped remembering. Images hit me like flash bulbs, a secret game my aunt had made me play. Whispers into cracks in the floor, nights spent behind wallpaper, a closet that led to a second version of the house beneath it. She had told me it was make-believe, that it was a special game for girls with imaginations too big for the world. But it wasn't a game, it was a ritual, something old, something the house needed. I kept your voice, the girl said, standing now. I kept it safe when you left, but now you need to earn it back. I turned and tried to run, but there was no floor, no hallway, no door, just her, and the sound of hundreds of tiny fingernails tapping behind the walls. Then she lunged in it to hurt me, to merge, her arms wrapped around me. And suddenly my head felt split into. Every memory I'd forgotten began to replay in my mind, on fast forward and reverse, sideways, until I collapsed. And when I opened my eyes, I was back in the house. Daylight streamed through the window. The clock ticked normally. My phone buzzed, but the closet was gone. And when I looked in the mirror, my reflection blinked before I did. At first, I thought maybe I'd imagined the entire thing, the closet, the girl, the memories flooding back like poisoned water. Maybe it was a breakdown. But when I touched the mirror and my reflection didn't move with me, I knew something was still wrong, terribly wrong. I raised my left hand, she raised her right. I tilted my head slowly. She didn't move at all. She just stared, calm and patient, like she was waiting for the right moment to respond. I stepped away, heart pounding, trying to remember every detail from the night before, but the house looked normal to normal. No more humming, no ticking in reverse. The photo that had shown me standing outside the house gone. The letter from my aunt vanished. I picked up my phone to check the date. It said October 8th. That couldn't be right. I had arrived on the 5th. I'd last 2 full days. My voicemail was full. Friends, coworkers, even my ex, all asking the same thing. Where are you?" But none of them sounded right. Their voices echoed oddly through the speaker like they were being filtered. Flattened rehearsity. Went to the front door and turned the knob. This time it opened. A wave of sunlight hit me, but I didn't feel warm. I stepped outside and heard birds' cars whined. I turned back toward the house and realized the second floor window was open. Penny hadn't opened any windows in that window. Someone was staring down at me. Couldn't make out their face, but they were wearing my jacket. He backed up to the car and fumbled with the keys. I wasn't staying another minute. The moment I started the engine, my phone rang. No name, just a number that matched my own. I shouldn't have answered, but I did. My voice came through the speaker. "Don't leave, you haven't finished remembering." I drove a fasty. Don't remember the road, just the way the house slowly disappeared in the rearview mirror like fog being swallowed by a shadow. I made it to the nearest city and checked into a hotel. I took a shower, convinced myself it was over, but when I stepped out and wiped the steam from the mirror, she was standing behind Nanette in the room in the reflection, smiling. "No," she whispered. "You left me in the walls. I'm not in the house anymore. I'm in you." I spun round. No one but in the mirror she stayed, and she's still there. She moves when I don't. Blinks when I blink twice. Mouths things I never saw. I haven't looked in a mirror since the back house. I think she's learning how to move without me. Tried going home, not to the house in Greystone Vale, to my real home, my apartment in the city. I walked through the front door expecting something, some collapse of logic, some cinematic reveal. But instead it welcomed me like nothing had ever changed. Same keys, same kitchen, same dying plant in the corner. But that's what scared me the most, because I knew something had changed. I had changed. My reflection wasn't following me anymore, and the world around me didn't know to see. 3 days passed before I saw her again. It happened while I was on a video call with my best friend Ray. We were laughing, forced and awkward, the kind of laugh people give you when they can tell you're not okay but don't want to push. I adjusted my webcam slightly and froze. Ray's face changed as she said, "Wait, is someone behind you?" I turned. No one bit. When I looked back at the screen, the feed was glitching just for a moment, but long enough for a frozen frame of me. Yes, standing behind myself, smiling head tilted, wearing the exact outfit from Greystone Valley. Shut the laptop and ran to the bathroom. I stood in front of the mirror, heart racing, hands trembling. Me reflection was gone and nothing, just empty glass. I tried screaming, I tried filming, I even tried smashing the mirror. But the moment it shattered, the shards showed different angles of her, each shard a different pose, a different Grinch was fully formed now, not just a memory, not just a spurious second version of May. Stop sleeping, afraid that when I woke up she'd already be in my place. I noticed little things, text messages I didn't send, emails I didn't write, recalled and asked why I sounded so different that morning. I hadn't spoken to her. My voicemail was full again, all static except one message, clear and calm. "You've had your time, Mara. Let me show you what I remember." I checked the camera outside my apartment door. A figure stood there every night now, shoulders hunched, hands in pockets, but the face was always just out of frame, no matter the angle, no matter how close. Then last night, I woke up and I was in the wrong body. Everything was slightly off. The way I breathed, the sound of my heartbeat, how my fingertips felt numb. I stumbled to the mirror, expecting nothing but she was there, and I wasn't. Looked at me through the glass like I was the one stuck. Now then, she mouthed, "You made me to survive. Now I'm surviving without you. I haven't eaten in days, not because I can't, but because food doesn't taste right anymore. It tastes like memory, distant, vague." Copied. My hands still move, my lungs still breathe, but something about my body feels borrowed, like I'm wearing myself like a costume, one that doesn't quite fit anymore. Every time I pass a window or reflective surface, I avoid it, because when I look, she's always there. Not copying me, not mocking, just waiting, practicing, becoming more me than I am. Me went back to Greystone Valley, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. The house was the key. It made her. It might be the only way to unmake her. The town was emptier than before, like it had collapsed inward in my absence. The gas station was boarded up, the diner windows shattered. The house, however, stood taller, prouder, like it had finished building something. She stepped inside and heard the humming again, louder this time. It echoed from every wall, vibrating in my bones. I walked to the upstairs hallway and saw the closet again, the one that had vanished now. It was their bigger breath than Geop, and the door inside was not darkness, but a mirror, just one tall silver frame, ancient looking. Its surface shimmered like water. Stood inside it, not just a reflection, a person, a life whole. She smiled. When she saw me, she looked relaxed, confident, comfortable in her skin, my skin. Why? I whispered. Her smile didn't fade. Because you made me, she said. Every time you lied to yourself, every time you pushed pain away, every time you forgot what happened in this house. I became clear. I stepped forward. Then take it back, take the pain. I want my life, my body. She tilted her head. You abandoned me, you walked away. I stayed. I remembered. I reached toward the mirror, and so did she, but her fingers didn't touch the glass. They passed through a warm reel. Both gasped was coming out, and I was being pulled, and humming grew violent, deafening. I tried to scream, but no sound came out, just static. My feet lifted from the floor, my hands sank into the surface. She leaned closer and whispered, you're a memory now, Mar. I'm the present. Then she pulled me through. The world flipped inside out. No, I'm inside the mirror. I see her living my life, laughing, smiling, going outside, being loved, and I'm here in glass watching me. Voice doesn't work anymore. But sometimes when she walks past the mirror at night, she hears me whisper, and she smells, because she knows I'm still in here watching her. Time doesn't move here. Or maybe it does, and I just can't feel it anymore. The mirror world isn't a place, it's a version, a reflection of my life, without choices, without control. I float between surfaces, flickering between bathroom mirrors, TV screens, window glass. Wherever she is, I follow, not by choice, but because I'm tethered to her. She's living my life better than I ever did, confident, smiling, laughing with friends I lost years ago, holding hands with my ex like she never made the mistakes I did, but I see cracks now, not in the glass, and her. She hesitates, sometimes forgets things I never would, glitches like she's trying to mimic which she never truly lived. I noticed her staring too long into the mirror. Her reflection doesn't always match up anymore. Her fingers twitch when she thinks no one is watching. She's not stable, she's too perfect. And the house doesn't want perfect, it wants pain, it wants memory. So I started whispering again, through static, through old phone screens, through water. Every night she sleeps, I echo my voice into her dreams, not words, just feelings, guilt, regret, grief, the things she buried to become me. And they're working. Last night she cried, first time in months, and when she looked in the mirror, she didn't see mesh, saw herself, the fractured copy, the reflection of a woman made from what I forgot. The house doesn't care which of us survives, it just wants to remember, to feed off the one who can still feel the pain of being forgotten. So I did what it wanted. It remembered everything. Night, Aunt Dolores locked me in the basement, told me to whisper my pain into the walls, or they would never stop humming. The hours I sat beneath the floorboards, repeating secrets to no one. The voice that started to whisper back, the deal I made at age 7. Take my fear, take my sadness, let me forget. And the thing that answered, I will make a version of you that survives. But she will not be you now. I remember it, Ellen, that gave me power tonight. As she brushed her teeth, I focused all of myself, every emotion I had ever swallowed, into the mirror behind her. She looked up, she froze, was smiling. But not her smile. A minute reached toward the mirror like before, but this time the glass didn't open. Penny was in control. No, her face twisted. She screamed, but no sound came out. He watched as the glass rippled, and she was pulled in, and I stepped out back into my body. The real world hit me like thunder, breath, light, warmth, pain, all of it at once. I collapsed on the floor, coughing, sobbing. Shockingly, was me again. The mirror is gone now, just a blank wall, no reflection, no whispers. But sometimes, when it's late, I hear humming, and I know she's still inside, screaming the way I once did. The house gave me a second chance, and it took someone else's in return, because, in the end, the house doesn't watch you to haunt you, it watches you to decide which version of you deserves to stay. Thank you for listening to The House That Watches, written and edited by Dark Life Side Diaries. If this story chilled your spine, like, share, and subscribe for more horror that sees you even when you look away. Don't forget to turn on notifications, because you never know which story will feel a little too real. Comment below if your reflection stopped copying you. Would you notice?